I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies. I'm here today to do a review on the Win Blast. It's new for 2016, 2015. It's a target bow, 38 inches axle, machined riser, the same cams that will feature on the Win Dragonfly, which is a modular adjustable cam system. So this cam I'm going to guess, comes in three types: the T1, the T2 and the Synergy cam. Each one of those is 1 inch longer in draw length. You can also adjust the draw length here on the string stop from there to there. These bows have a cable stop, so the cable comes around and hits that point there, so you can use that to adjust the value of the bow. These bows sell for roughly around 800 Australian dollars. It's basically a cheaper version of the Dragonfly. Now, the most common question I get about the Blast, it comes in 38 and 34. The 34 is a little bit cheaper, but the 38 is, what's the difference between this and the Dragonfly? Now, this is the Win Dragonfly 38, and you'll see that both bows are identical. They have the same cam system on both of them. They're absolutely identical. There's no difference. And the Dragonfly is about $200 more expensive. Now, the riser is slightly different. You have the same limb pivots on the Dragonfly that you do on the Blast, which is that thing there. The pockets are basically the same, although they're covered in a carbon film for the Dragonfly. The limbs are the first bit of difference. The Dragonfly, you have a carbon featured limb. The Blast is fiberglass. Fiberglass is what's featured on most compound bows. But the Dragonfly features the carbon nano limbs. The other difference is the cable guard on the Blast is a solid carbon cable guard. On the Dragonfly, it's a flexible cable guard, so you can see it basically comes down in thickness. Hopefully you can see that, but it becomes thinner in this section here, so it basically flexes in. It has the roller cable guard on the Dragonfly. You have the dual string stops on the Dragonfly. The Blast has only got the one stop. And also the Dragonfly comes in two models, one with the lower cable guard point here and one with the two holes. So with the Dragonfly, the two models, one's European and one is American. I've now switched to I think it's the American model I've gone for, the one with the rear hole. The other version of the Dragonfly features the hole here, where you can fit a lower mount stabilizer to it. So the basic difference is the Dragonfly has got the flexible cable guard, the roller slide, carbon limbs, the lower mount spot here, the dual spots there. It comes with a bow bag and it comes with a Win hat. Now, the difference in price is about $200, so you've got to say, depends what $200 is to you. If $200 is a lot, this bow will shoot just fine. But if $200, if you go, actually, for $200, the Dragonfly is good value, then you'll go up for the Dragonfly. And as far as sales are concerned, for me, the Dragonfly has outsold the Blast by miles. Although this bow is it's quite popular in its own right. Now, why is the Blast popular in its own right? Physical weight of this bow is quite light, and I will measure it. I think it's under 4 pounds, but I will measure and I will put it up there. It's a very nice target finish bow. 38 inches tends to be for target shooting, so it's longer axle, nice round smooth cams, so nice and easy to draw. Now, it's competition in the target bow category. You have the PSE Phenom, which is $1,000. So now you're up against the Dragonfly. The only other bow I could think of, and the only reason I actually thought of it, was a customer rang me up and he said, I've got a PSE Supra and I want a bow which is easier to shoot. What do you think about the Hoyt Charger? And this is the Hoyt Charger. This is the other bow which could be considered. Now, this bow is 31 inches axle. It has plastic limb pivots here, a cast riser, so not a machine riser, a cast riser. Now, it's a nice little bow, but to me, this is no target bow at $800. It doesn't have the length of a target bow. It doesn't have the machine riser. It does have adjustability. Oh, actually, I take that away. It doesn't have adjustability on the cams. The draw length on this is adjustable through modules, so you have to buy modules to change the draw length of it. And I find for target shooting, I tend to try different size draw lengths, and especially people growing, and when they're trying different draw lengths, you'd have to buy new modules. So this bow in target colors, or even in black, is about $850. But to me, this is not, I mean, it looks pretty. And if you're down at a target club, it looks like the guy's bow who shoots $2,000. So you go, yeah, look, I've got a bow which looks like a $2,000 bow, but it's not. And, you know, I haven't actually compared this in shootability, but it is a 31-inch bow. And there is no one shooting a 31-inch bow for target shooting at a high level. And there probably will be somewhere in the world, but on the elite, the shortest bows used for target archery, and it's only been this year, have been the Hann X's, which are 35 inches axle, and they've just come onto the scene and they've just been successful. But before that, it's been 38 or 40, and even before that, it's always been longer. 38 was a new thing, and now 35. So 31 is generally wouldn't be considered a target bow. It doesn't have the lower spot here. It does have this hole here where you could fit a thing. So to me, there wasn't a lot of other bows in the $800 bracket for target shooting. So to me, this was a kind of a standout. I mean, PSE, the Phenom, $1,000. Matthews didn't have anything. And I checked the Hoyts. The Charger was the only one which was close. And that was about it. So that's where I sort of came to, the Win Blast. So the real question is, do you want to jump up in price to the Dragonfly? Now this bow comes in 3 colours. It comes in the red, which is here. Now it's quite a different red to the Dragonfly. It's a sparkly, quite a deep red. It all comes in a blue and a black. Now I'm going to show you what they look like. These are straight out of the box. The bow poundages come in a 50, 60 and a 40. They might do a 70, but it's not really applicable for target, because target you're limited to 60 pound. But I'll show you what they look like. Let's jump in here. So this is how Win Blast comes from factory. It comes in a cardboard box. It's got foam to protect it. There's no bow bag. The Dragonfly comes in a bow bag. It comes with an instruction manual, which is stuck to the bottom of the thing. It comes with an instruction manual. Now the Dragonfly, for some reason, doesn't come with a manual. And it might be it's just new, but it doesn't. All the Dragonflies I've sold do not come with these little manuals, and the Dragonfly is mentioned in here how to adjust it. So anyway, I'll just grab this out. So this is the blue. Now the blue itself is spectacular. It's a very, very shiny, deep blue. Now my first comment with this is, look at the string colours, white and red. I've got no idea what Win are thinking with white and red. But it's not abnormal for a bow company to do that. PSE used to do it a couple of years ago when they produced blue bows. They used to fit red strings to them, which I think is a little bit unfortunate, because the cost of a string is, it doesn't cost anything more to have it made a different colour. And if you're going to make blue, then make a blue string to fit it. So that's the blue. And this one here is the black. Now it's a shiny black. Out the packet. So it's not a dull black. It's not a powder coat finish. It's actually a paint finish. Now, today I had a phone call from a guy who had a paint finish bow, and he complained because it had a chip. Now paint will chip. Powder coat is a much more durable finish, and this is definitely a spray finish like their Target recurves, which is still a high quality finish, but it will chip if you mistreat it. So that's the 3 bows. we're going to shoot them through a chronograph. We're going to shoot them on the shooting range, and then I'm going to set up one for target and see how well it shoots for actual target setup with a target stabilizer and scope, and see how it shoots. And I'm also going to show you how to adjust the bow in draw length. Thank you. Okay, so I'm up here to set up the Blast. I picked the blue one to set up. And when I was walking around the shop, I was thinking, did I miss a bow which was similar to this that could be basically shot for target archery? And I obviously forgot this one. This is the Win Shadow Pro, 36 inches axle, full carbon bow, carbon limbs, carbon riser, flexible cable guard, comes with a case, twin stops like the Dragonfly, and this bow is about $900. So it's lighter, it's about 3.6 pounds in mass weight, and that's another bow, if you're looking for a bow, around the $900 to consider. So to the Dragonfly, I'm going to fit a basic D-loop to it. I'm going to fit a basic hunting sight to start with. I'm going to adjust the draw length and basically go and take it outside and have a shot with it. So first thing I fit is the Whiskey Biscuit. Now when you fit your Whiskey Biscuit, they're really simple to fit. I fit them to all the bows when I've got them in the shop for people to try out, because the arrow can't fall off the arrow rest, and it's just simple and easy, it's cheap, so it just locks on. Now the main thing when you're setting up an arrow rest is you put the string through the center of the grip, which is through the center of the handle, which is through the center of everything, and the arrow should come straight down that line. And it's literally that simple. Now I had a guy in the other day and he was like, oh, paper tuning his bow, which is cool. And even if you're out by a little bit, the arrow will still shoot the same every time. So if your bow's not exactly perfect, it's still going to shoot the same arrow every time. The variance is going to always be with the archer. I'm not saying don't set up your bow correctly, but the bow will shoot the same every time. Now to fit a D-loop, 90 degrees to the string. I fit it slightly high because it gives the arrow direction coming out the bow, and I use a bow square to get the 90-degree angle. So I've just tied the D-loop on. Now the D-loop, the knots should be in opposing directions, so one's facing towards you and one's facing away. Like that. So you put on loose to start with, you then put your T-square on the bow, set it up. I'm using these D-loop pliers because it pulls everything in perfectly. And that's D-loop fitted to the bow. I'm now going to fit the sight, and we're going to take it outside for a shot. So I fitted the sight to the bow. Now the most common question I get about fitting a sight to the bow is the bow sight sighted in for me? And the answer is no. The sight will be different depending who the archer is, what their draw length is, what their release age is. If you had a peep sight, it would be pretty close, but if you've got a different anchor point, higher or lower, that will obviously change the sight. How you grip the bow will change left or right adjustment on the bow. But basically the sight should almost, the string when lined up with the arrow rest, when lined up with the arrow, the sight should almost be in that plane. Sometimes it'll be a little bit across to the side, and that would be to do with torque. But that's pretty basic. So I've just bolted the sight on. Now I've got to check the draw length. Now I always draw back a bow with an arrow in, and that way if something goes wrong, I'm not dry firing my bow, okay? If I dry fire my bow, I'm going to blow the cams, I'm going to blow the limbs, I'm going to blow the string. I'd rather shoot the arrow into the wall, and I'd prefer not to do that. And I generally have a target where I basically drawing the bow back onto to check the draw length. But in this case, for this video, I'm just drawing into a blank wall, which is hopefully safe. So we're just going to pull this bow back. Now that feels about right for me in draw length. So I'm going to guess this is about 28 and a half, 29 inches. It's got draw stops here and down the bottom. There's numbers here, and the modules have numbers also on them. I don't know if that's going to show up, but there's numbers there. This is currently set on number 7. Each number will be ½ an inch in draw length. So longer letters, long numbers, number 9 will be the longest draw length, number 0 will be the shortest. So if this is on 29, which I suspect it is, this will go out to 30 inches in draw length and probably go down to something like 7. 5 would be 28. 3 would be 27, 1 would be 26, so 0 will be 25 and a half. So this bow goes from 25 and a half to 30 inches. It's got a little bit more adjustment than that because you can move the string to a shorter spot. Shortening the string will reduce the bow poundage by a little bit. So this bow should be rated from 25 inches to 30 inches. The poundage on this bow, this is a 60-pound bow. You should get it down to 50, no issue. It will shoot under that, but bows shoot better on maximum poundage because it puts more tension on strings and cables. There are some exceptions to that, and how much better does it shoot on max poundage? Not a lot of difference. It's no use selling someone a 60-pound bow when they're going to shoot 40 pounds if they're never going to shoot 60. So, for example, lady last night, she was shooting a 50-pound bow at 38 pounds and shooting perfectly fine with it for indoor. She shot 292 out of 300, and that bow's fully wound down and it still shoots great. So, but if she didn't have any ambition to shoot 50-pound, then you'd sell her a 40-pound bow. So we've set this up. Now we're going to put it through the chronograph and see how it shoots. Now on the Win Dragonfly, there are top people in the world now shooting them. Top shooters. We've got a top shooter in this state shooting one. So they are a nice bow to shoot, and I know it will shoot okay. The draw cycle is quite smooth, but we'll shoot it through a chronograph now and see what it chronos at. To test the blast through a chronograph. Now speed is not everything for target archery. Target archery, generally what you're looking for is more consistency in a bow which will shoot the same every time. Speed's really important if you're doing 3D archery, hunting, because you're looking for more energy for the amount of work which you put in. So it's no use having a bow that is 50 pounds for hunting and it's slow because you're not going to get the penetration. And also for 3D, if you're guessing distances, it's nice to have a faster bow. So that's where a faster bow with lighter arrows for 3D archery, that's where that comes in. But for target archery, speed is still important because you still need the energy to be able to shoot, you know, 70 or 90 meters. So you don't want a bow which is extremely slow, but you don't generally need a bow which is extremely fast. So I mean, the speed of this bow will be fine for target archery, but we'll still put it through chronograph because that's what we generally do with bows. I'm shooting a gold tip velocity. It's set on 60 pound. These are gold tip velocity 400s with a 90 grain point. It's the same arrows I shoot for all my tests. Now I've just done tests on a Matthews HTX Beast from PSE, and I got 60 pounds, 29 inches, and I got about speeds of about 290 out of those. So let's first off see what the draw cycle is like of this bow. And yeah, I did draw it back in the shop. So you're drawing this back, and that feels all the same sort of pressure all the way through. Valley is hitting there. I'll just let that down. So the valley, you hit the valley, and that's a dead stop. And so some of the couples I've sold these bows to, some of the customers I've sold them to, have said, I like a bigger valley. Now, what the PSE engineers say is we don't want a long valley, we want a short valley because it makes you more consistent. Because it makes you pull hard against the wall, so it creates consistency. If you've got this big valley and you're just like flopping around the place, when you shoot, you generally don't have the back tension, and sometimes you'll sort of jump forward. So the PSE engineers say what's important is to keep pulling back, and that's what this bow's like. It doesn't have a big valley, but what I did for the customers who I had with this bow, if you can see the marks there, I actually dropped the cable stops back, so I increased the valley for the customers. So I moved it from a position of 7 to an 8 to increase the valley. Now it doesn't have a big valley. It's not like a Chill R from Matthews, which has got the big valleys, but it's not hard. I don't find this bow hard to shoot. But it is a comment which is made, it's not a big valley, it's a very short, distinctive valley. So let's just draw that back. So I draw it back, that's a dead stop there. Now if I want to draw back further, it doesn't, it's pretty solid back there. I'm going to take this shot. Now that's shot at 286 feet per second, which is pretty quick. Because the Matthews HTX shot at 294, I think, 295. The Beast shot at 290s, 286, I think. So the Beast was rated at 320. I think this is rated 320. The HTX was rated at 330 feet per second. So this is not a lot slower than the hunting bows. Now I'd say it's noisier. I would say there's more vibration than the other bows, and that's because the limbs are not parallel. So they don't have the compression limbs of the PSE. The HDX was very parallel, so you get a little bit more shock with this bow forward. There's more noise, but this is a target bow. They're not interested in making the bow quiet. They're not interested in the amount of vibration. They're more than happy for this bow to jump forward in your hand when you shoot. It's not like it sits there and vibrates. It's just you'll feel it more than a beyond parallel limb bow. So let's just take another shot. .288. I just realised I am too close to the other arrow. Now, to me, a couple of things about this bow. You've got roller bearings up the top on this cam, which is the same as the Dragonfly. Good cam system on this bow. The bow feels to me, the grip, I find really comfortable to hold. It feels like any other target bow I've shot as far as the ability to shoot the bow. The grip feels the same. It's really comfortable. The anchor feels great. Everything just feels really good. Now, I really liked the Beast last review I did. I thought the draw cycle on that was smooth. I thought it was really nice to shoot. And it was really nice. There's nothing wrong with this bow. I'd say the Beast is smoother in the draw cycle, and you could argue the Beast is a better bow. No question it's a better bow. And no question it's a better bow. But there's nothing wrong with this. Like, if I was going to say I could shoot both bows, which one would I shoot better with? I'd probably say I'd shoot the same. But this bow's $800 and the Beast is $1,350. So to me, this feels really, really good. You got a yoke system here, so you can adjust the cam lean. I'm just going to shoot one more shot out of it, and then we'll take it in the indoor range and see how I shoot at 18 meters. .290 feet per second, and you'll notice then I was getting ready to anchor and bow jumped forward in my hand a bit. Now there's not a big valley there, and that's just part of me. I was feeling pretty relaxed when I got back there. I was like, oh, this is feeling really nice. Well, I let my back tension off, and that's because I'm not familiar with the bow. But overall, like, I really like this bow. The Blast, beautiful bow. And my question would be, do I fork out an extra $200 to get the Dragonfly, which comes with a case, a hat, and the few little extra things? This cable slide, I'm going to guess, is the slippery slide, which is a really, really nice cable slide. They're only $10, but they're really, really smooth, and it feels really, really smooth. Limb bolts here, stainless, which are really, really good. It has the dual positions here to bolt the arrow rest on, and when I'm bolting the arrow rest on, sometimes I fit a bolt in both of them to lock the arrow rest in place. But really, really nice. I really, really like this bow. We're going to take it in and shoot 18 meters with it, and then after that I'm going to put a target setup on and see the difference, because a lot of my customers go, I can't afford a top target setup, but I can afford a bow and I'll upgrade. So for me, it's a bit interesting to see, well, how much better do I shoot with a full target setup versus a basic, $20, $30 sight, $20 arrow rest, and no stabilizers. And the stabilizers give you the most accuracy. So we're going to take that in and have a shot. 18 meters with the Blast. I've got a basic hunting sight, no stabilizers on it. I'm shooting a back tension release aid from Scott called the Backspin, and I'm shooting velocity arrows, which I normally use for my target setup. Now I just want to see how these arrows group compared to the other bows we've shot, because I've done this on a few bows now, so let's just compare the groups. Now I'm going to say before you see this, there's a guy in my state who shoots the Dragonfly 38, so basically it's identical to this bow. And he shoots perfect indoor scores, 300s. So, I mean, he's a good shot, but he shoots 300s. So the fact that I don't shoot 300 is not an indication of the bow. It's a hunting setup. He may be a better shooter than me, he may not be. But, you can shoot perfect scores with this bow. There's no question at all in my mind about that. So let's just compare the accuracy of this bow and how I shoot it compared to the other bows I shot. Now that could be a night by night basis, because my scores do vary night by night, but let's just see how they go. Bows will always shoot better if you set them up for yourself with a peep sight and all that sort of stuff, but for this purpose I just think it's interesting to compare how it shoots and how it feels. It feels like so fast. I know it's the same speed of the Beast and the HTX, but for a target bow, it just feels like a rocket coming out of my hand. just going to shoot 6 arrows. I actually, I know they're going close to the gold. I don't know where they are going, but I feel like it holds pretty well on the target. I do lose the green pin in the target itself, in the shadows of the target, and in the actual yellow of the target. But like, it feels nice. Everything feels nice to shoot. Now, the difference between a target setup and a hunting setup is massive in my opinion, as far as accuracy is concerned. I'm not taking away from what I'm doing here. But like, good hunters with a hunting setup, I'm talking a basic stabilizer, a good hunting bow. The highest score I've seen indoors in my range is probably a score close to the 290s out of 300s, and I have seen 280s, and they're good shooters. And don't get me wrong, there is going to be bow hunters around the world who are going to say, yeah, I shoot 300s with a hunting setup, and that's fantastic. But I'm just talking the average guy, a hunting setup, 280 out of 300s, pretty good. My view is, if you put a target setup on that bow, or it was a target bow with a target setup, he'd be shooting high 290s from the people I've seen shoot, because they seem to shoot pretty well. They seem to be pretty stable. So I reckon a target setup is worth, for indoor, is probably worth towards 10 points, maybe worth more. Oh. We'll go and, so I've shot 4 arrows and I've just Robin Hooded one, so we're going to go down there because I don't want to shoot any more. I don't know where they're going. We'll go down there. So in my opinion, as far as a target setup, I don't have a stabilizer. I would shoot better even with a hunting stabilizer. Like, if I could shoot this bow with this setup, this sight, this rest, shoot 280 out of 300, that's awesome. That's what I think I should shoot. So let's go and see target range. So these are my arrows. Now, with my arrows, I actually shot 6 arrows. Now, to me, this group here is better than the Beast and the HTX I shot. Like, I can get my hand around a tight group. If I had my sights adjusted, they would be, that score would be a high, probably be a good 290 there. My issue I do have is this one up here. Now that could be me, I'm obviously videotaping myself, so that could be me throwing that, and obviously is throwing that arrow. So, because that arrow is not very impressive up there, so that was obviously me. Now with a lighter bow, and I don't have a stabilizer, you'll tend to get these random arrows out here. So the stabilizer will reduce these because it reduces your ability to torque. But I'm really happy with this group, and to me it's definitely better than the Beast and the HTX I shot. So what I want to do now is I want to put a peep on it. I'm going to put a stabilizer on it, and then we're going to do this again. So let's see what happens. So I've come back to the shooting range. I've fitted my Bee Stinger stabilizers to the Blast. I fitted a peep sight to the string. I haven't changed the arrow rest, and I haven't changed the sight. Now, part of my thinking is I read a report the other day that the difference between a biscuit and like a drop away rest over distance, over 50 meters, was very, very little. So I figured it wouldn't make much difference. I figured the sight wouldn't make much difference as far as accuracy. And that's only I've got a $600 sight plus a $400 scope. So I'm going to say there's not a lot of difference in $1,000 compared to a hunting sight, which is $30. So I don't know, we'll see. So this is basically what I would be shooting. I generally shoot a blade arrow rest, Golden Premier, which is about $100. My sight setup is around 1,000. So I shoot a XL and I shoot a Black Eagle scope. So let's just shoot this, and once again, my sights are still the same. I haven't adjusted the positions from last time. So let's just shoot this and let's see where they group. Now with stabilizers, the general rule of thumb is that the more weight you've got on it, the less you move around. That's to do with length, less torque you get. But I shoot every night with a person who's basically got no weight on their stabilizers because they have muscle problems, and they shoot a score of quite similar to what I shoot. And with that, I've got all this weight on my thing. I'm doing weights to try and get stronger, and I put extra weight on my bow, and I have obviously a better bow than they have. And I obviously train harder, and I've been shooting a lot longer. But it still gets back to pointing at the target and hitting the target. So I aimed that one off a little bit. That one was on the 9 when I went off. It was a 9 at 3 o'clock when it went off on the back tension. Those 2 arrows hit, so that's a good sign. I actually don't know where they're hitting, but those arrows hit. So how much better is the Blast, an $800 bow, to something like, let's say, the PSE Stinger, which is a $500 bow? Now, to me, you're talking a cast riser, which is the Stinger. This is a machine riser. You're talking a better cam system on this bow. You're talking longer axle, 38 inches versus the 31-inch bow. So to me, this is a better bow. I'm not sure what it equates to in a score. For an indoor score like this, where you're shooting out 300, it may be 10 points. But I take at the National Field Archery Association's indoor tournament, there was a 9-year-old girl shooting a PSE mini burner who shot 300. I'm assuming she shot at 18 meters because there's a picture of her on the PSE website. Shooting a perfect 300 with a mini burner. I'm like, that's impressive. A 9-year-old shooting a little bow, shooting a perfect 300, that's impressive. And I'm like guessing it was 18 meters. I'm guessing they don't have a special short distance for 9-year-olds, but that to me is impressive. I think that's 6. So we'll go down there and check how those arrows are on the target. So I've just shot with stabilizers, basically a hunting sight, whiskey biscuit arrow rest at 18 meters, same as I did last time with no stabilizer. Now what's interesting to me is the arrows actually move down the target, because last time they were slightly high up here, and they've moved slightly across. So what's happened is, for some reason, either this bow has slowed down, it could be because of the peep sight, or because of the weight of the physical stabilizers on the bow, it's actually moved the arrows down the target. It's also moved them to this side, which is kind of interesting. Now I would actually say my group was better without a stabilizer, but I don't have a odd arrow in there. So there's not an arrow which is like last time when I shot without a stabilizer, I had one odd arrow, but the actual group was pretty good last time. I would say this group's not as good, but I don't have the stray arrow. I mean, if you adjust your sights, and it's hard to adjust your sight with a hunting stabilizer, a hunting sight versus a target sight. I would say most of those would be in the gold, and for me, score-wise, that'd probably equate to a 280, 285 kind of score out of this bow. With a hunting stabilizer and whiskey biscuit arrow rest. So to me, how does this bow, an $800 Blast, compare to, I normally shoot an Expression from PSE, which is a $2,000 bow. To me, in accuracy and the way the bow feels to shoot, there's a bit of vibration when you shoot it, and there is vibration also with an Expression when you shoot it. There's more noise, I'm going to say, with this bow. I'm going to say the shot is nice. It's crisp straight out the hand. I don't feel a vibration. I can feel the shot out. It feels comfortable. The draw cycle I'm comfortable with. The valley is not big, but I'm very comfortable with having no valley. Because I've recently swapped to 65% let off. And this is bigger let off than that. But to me, that makes me more accurate. So overall, I would have no question at all to say you could shoot as good as any other bow on the market with the Blast. No question at all in my mind. The question in my mind is, are you better to spend $200 more and get the Dragonfly, and that's up to your budget. And I don't think you'd shoot any better with the Dragonfly. It's just I've got that question over carbon limbs, I've got the question over the bow case, and the other features that feature on the Dragonfly. The cable stops that feature on the Dragonfly, the second stop down the bottom here, to me is not an issue. I don't rate it. I do rate the flexible cable guard. I think that's a good thing. I think it looks prettier. So overall, the Blast, it comes in 3 colors: the black, the red, and the blue. The Dragonfly comes in more colors. It comes in a whole array of colors. But overall, I think this bow is good, and I think you'll be happy with it. And I think the thing with Win and Win, and for me, when I sell archery gear, I need backup service, because I sell so many thousand bows a year. I'm going to have people dry fire them. I'm going to have people derail them. I have all sorts of issues every single day I've got to deal with. I need backup service from the company. I need it. If you buy this bow in 2 years, you have a problem, I need there to be service. Now with Win and Win, I place about 6 orders a day. Ginny from Win and Win will talk to me 6 times a day, at least, maybe more. I mean, to me, Win and Win, as far as their recurve bows, are outstanding. I think they're new with compounds, and they're really starting to get into the compound market, and I think the way they do that is with customer service. And with me, with Win and Win, they just produced arrows. It's customer service, it's quality, it's price, and that's what they've done with this bow. It's priced, there's really no competition. At $800 for a target bow, there's no competition in the market. And I think with the Dragonfly at $1,000, they hit a nice price point. The weight was good. The physical weight was good for the bow. It was picked up by ladies. It's been picked up by veterans. It's been picked up by a whole bunch of people who don't want to spend the extra money on a Hoyt or another expensive target bow like the Expression from PSE, and this bow shoots great. So to me, the PSE, the Win & Win Blast, check it out, go and have a shot with it, because I can't see why you wouldn't shoot a score equivalent to what anyone else will shoot with this bow. I think the finish, to me, it looks fantastic. It really does. I mean, there is more vibration, there is more noise than some other bows, but it's not going to affect your accuracy one little bit at all. The grip is really nice, and grip is really, really important to shooting, and this has a nice grip to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why this bow has been picked up by so many people. I mean, the Win & Win Dragonfly is my most popular target bow I sell right now. So check it out, the Win & Win Blast and Win & Win, fantastic company. They ship quickly, and if you have a problem, they do ship parts really, really quick. So I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery and have a good day. Thank you. Bye.